Chester Zoo is one of Britain's biggest zoos. 500 staff care for 7,000 animals. Today, close encounter with a giant lizard.
It is known that they do inflict more injuries to keepers than any other monitor. You okay?
Yeah.
A new arrival takes everyone by surprise.
We got a call from a member of the public. We didn't really know what was going on. We came down and there was a baby.
And when the team take a chance, the elephants come to blows.
She could get badly beaten up and worse.
There's been a baby boom this summer at Chester Zoo, and the team has been busy with hundreds of new arrivals. Red panda La Shui gave birth to 2 cubs. Rio, the sea lion, became proud mum to Sophia. And little Tumbo was born to Nibbles, the African bongo. This morning, word of another new arrival has reached headkeeper Chas Mackenzie.
Just going to check on Vicuna baby, born about an hour and a half ago now. We've given it a little break for about half an hour now, so I'm just checking that everything's okay still.
The calf is just a few hours old, but she's already trying to stand. In the wilds of South America, young vicunas would be at risk from predators, so it's important for them to find their feet as quickly as possible. Keeper Kate Boyer has been keeping a close eye on the new arrival.
Yeah, we basically got a call from a member of the public saying that we had a llama cappy in distress, so we didn't really know what was going on. We came down and there was a baby still wet and shiny on the floor, and then stayed down for a couple of hours and just to check that it was latching on properly and suckling, because it's so important for them to get the colostrum straight away. But yeah, it was up within half an hour, so it's a good strong baby. Found out how to run up and down the hill, so that's always fun when it's near water. But yeah, everything's going well so far. We've already had people coming past going, "Where's the baby? Where's the baby?" It was nice, especially because it was so unexpected. We didn't really know anything was going to happen.
The calf's mother is 9 years old, and it's not the first time she's given birth.
She's actually a brilliant mum. Since we've had her, she's had 3 babies, and every time she's had a baby, she's looked after it really well. Well, this is what you're aiming for, isn't it? It's to produce youngsters that you can put back into whichever breeding programme that you want to be going into. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done in this group yet. Every morning when you come in, you see something new, something different. It just makes your day.
Chas has worked at Chester for more than 30 years and has a special bond with the animals in his care.
Working with animals is a lot better than working with people. Not as bolshy. Oh, I've got other things I should be doing yet, but yeah, it's nice to spend time with your animals and watch. It's actually part of your job anyways, to make sure things are okay. It's like these soap operas on TV, innit? You don't want to stop watching them, and it transfixes you. You just stood here watching and seeing how it goes, and for every minute, every second, it seems to be getting better and better.
After a shaky start, the new arrival is settling in well. Chas will return tomorrow to make sure Mum and baby are both okay. Next morning, and the team is in early.
This is wonderful. It's summer, it's Britain, and it's raining.
It's an exciting time at the elephant enclosure as head keeper Mick Jones prepares for an important but
the
risky
wall.
procedure.
I think that's too dangerous to work off the wall, especially when we've got a mix going on like this.
Asian elephants are endangered in the wild, and Chester Zoo runs a breeding programme to conserve this special animal. Today, the team will introduce female elephant Burma to a potential mate.
She's been with us now just over a year, and we're going to try and introduce her to Upperly, the bull.
Burma used to live a solitary life in a small French zoo. Today's introduction to a male is a huge step in her social development.
When she first came to us, she behaved almost like a little child in that she responded to us more like a child than she did as an elephant. She does have her idiosyncrasies, her funny habits, but don't we all? Where are you, Uppy? Where are you, matey?
13-year-old male, Upperly, has been at Chester Zoo since 1997.
He's a typical boy. He hasn't matured into a man yet. He's very explosive and very. He can be aggressive. He's a bit of a handful.
The elephants have so far been separated by steel bars. Today will be the first time Burma and Upperly will share the open paddock, and Mick knows it may not go smoothly.
The fire extinguishers are for separating them off, just in case it gets a bit hairy. So what's going to happen? The girls are going to come out through this door here, come out to feed here, and then we'll let Upperly out through this gate that's opening here.
Overseeing the process is zoo curator Mike Jordan.
We spent now nearly 18 months mixing her in with the rest of the cows. So we now have that herd completely united, which is absolutely wonderful. But now, the next challenge for us is that female group. Clearly we need to get our bull back in with it, or our breeding for the future doesn't continue.
Because of her isolated past, Burma doesn't know the correct way to respond to Upperly's interest.
The best thing that could happen is that Upperly will come out, join the girls, and everybody settles down and gets on with being elephants. And the worst thing that could happen, and that's Burma will front up to Upperly, and he'll have to put her in her place, and there'll be a little bit of a fight.
Every one of his team knows every one of those elephants intimately, and so as a result, yeah, it's a very, very tense moment for them. In a way, that's why there's other people peripheral to the team here to help make the decisions, because sometimes if you're just so close to the animals, it can be very difficult to make decisions that you might have to make because you're so wrapped up in them. It's like, trying to make a decision about your brother or your sister or something, whereas perhaps what you need is, you want the doctor to make that decision sort of thing. And it's that same analogy here, I guess, when we're dealing with some of the animals.
All ready, Stefan?
Once he's inside the paddock, Upperly will quickly detect the presence of a new female in the herd and will instinctively assert his dominance over Burma. It's natural behaviour, but it doesn't stop the team worrying for Burma's safety.
Seeing it day in, day out, day in, day out, and this is quite scary that you're just going to throw the bull in with her and hope everything's okay.
She could get badly beaten up. Badly beaten up. And worse.
Mick keeps a close eye on the elephant's behaviour. If he feels Burma is at risk, he'll set off the fire extinguishers to distract Upperly and defuse the situation.
What he's doing, it's flaming, they call it. He's just testing her urine for the hormones that will be able to tell him that she's in season. She's resisting a little bit because she's never had this sort of attention before.
Burma seems reluctant to submit, and Mick's anxious for her safety.
Butterflies still, big butterflies. you get developer relationships with these animals. Sheba, for example, I've known her more than I've known most people, everybody except my family. So it's a very strong, deep relationship.
It's going as well as can be expected at the moment. He's actually being very, very easy on her. I mean, if he really wanted to be hard, he could be really hard on her, so it's going really well.
At Chester Zoo's elephant enclosure, Mick and the team have introduced female elephant Burma to potential mate Uppally.
He's trying to make her stand still and she's having none of it. She's getting some pressure from him.
When Uppally pins Burma into a corner of the paddock, Mick becomes alarmed.
Uppally!
He shouts to distract Uppally, while in the distance the team sets off fire extinguishers. It seems to do the trick.
He is being a bit heavy with her, but we've got to give him a chance.
Because she had such a sort of poor past, you know, she's kept on her own for so long, for about 20 years. She doesn't really understand social cues. She doesn't understand that when he starts challenging her, that it's her job to submit. She takes it as a threat and she challenges him back.
She's really got to give in to him completely, which she's not doing at the minute.
At last, Burma realises she's not going to get the better of Uppally. After nearly half an hour, she gives in.
She stood for him, albeit unwillingly.
I think it went really, really well. It was a bit scary when she got pinned in the corner, but the team were all on standby and set off the fire extinguishers. And then eventually she sort of twigged on, OK, I've got to stand still and I've got, you know, he's in charge of me, he is dominant over me.
Hopefully, in the next few times we do this, she'll settle down. And when she comes into season, she'll be mated and we'll have a pregnant elephant on our hands. And then the real nerves begin.
Burma has come through her ordeal safely, and after years living alone, is one step closer to becoming a full member of the herd. At the reptile house, the team is about to get hands-on with a killer. 2 weeks ago, head keeper Isolde McGeorge had her hands full when Chester welcomed a new arrival.
I've got him now, so get his hind legs.
A Salvador monitor, the longest lizard in the world.
This one far exceeds the Komodo dragon.
When the keepers noticed blood coming from inside his mouth, zoo vet James Chatterton was called in to take swabs, which would help determine the cause.
These in particular can have some real nasty bugs growing inside the mouth.
Now you can take your swabs.
Yeah.
The results are in, and now the team needs to capture the lizard so James can give him his medicine.
We've got the results back from the swab that we took 3 or 4 days ago now. Now, in other tree monitors that we've swabbed, the bacteria that we've found causing infections has been resistant to a lot of antibiotics we normally use. But luckily, in this individual, the bacteria we've grown is sensitive to an antibiotic we can give in the food. So today we're going to do another quick check of his mouth, and I'll give him an injection of antibiotic, and then the oral antibiotics will start from 2 days' time. We have hose pipe.
We have hose pipe.
I think we can go, can't we?
Yeah.
It is known that they do inflict more injuries to keepers than any other monitor in zoos. So we're going to be very, very careful, particularly about around his head area. He's got very sharp, long teeth, so we're going to be particularly careful about that.
Keepers only handle the animals when they absolutely have to, but Isolde must be cautious.
You okay? Yeah.
One bite from this giant predator could easily mean a trip to A&E.
Right, let's have him down. We'll remove the towel.
You should quieten down.
There we go. Right.
Okay. We put him into the bag just for his safety and for ours. It should quieten him down.
Right, that's okay. He's a very, very strong, powerful animal. He's very long claws that are hooking in. Right. Got the rest of that there, yeah? So. Right. Okay. Hang on a sec. He can't see what's going on. He should quieten down. We're just going to literally rest him in there and take a weight.
The team weighs the lizard, so James can calculate how much drug to administer.
So he's nearly 8.5 kilos.
Can you open his mouth a bit more? He's just biting down onto it a little bit. To the hose, I don't want to hurt his mouth any more than it hurts already.
Yeah. So he's quite inflamed and there's some teeth missing. He will grow more once we start to get rid of the infection.
Do you see what I mean about how long and how different they are from other monitors' teeth? And they've got that very slight curvature just at the end, but very, very long and very sharp. Reptiles have deciduous teeth, so they do lose and replace them quite regularly, usually lose their teeth every 3 months. Not all at once, I might add, but staggered. And he's got around 60 teeth in his mouth.
It's a much darker pink colour than it should be. It should be a nice light salmon pink colour, and it's kind of a
reddish,
dark, angry red colour. So we've got photos to log the progress. We've had another little look. I don't think there's any... It's not much worse than last time anyway. It's about the same. So we'll remove the gag, shall we? And
yeah.
Because everything happens slowly in reptiles. In a dog or a cat or a mammal, a mouth infection might get better in a week or 2, but it's going to take a minimum of 6 weeks of antibiotics to make a difference in reptiles in general. So they get the same antibiotic that mammals get, but they just heal a lot slower. All right, kid, it stings a bit, I know, doesn't it?
You all right, Matt? Yeah.
That should be the last time the monitor has to be injected. It's good news for him and a relief for Isolde.
Now that he's been prescribed antibiotics that we can put into the food, we can just leave him to recuperate in his enclosure and get better under his own steam. And all we have to do is offer him a small food item once every other day with his antibiotic treatment in it.
At the Vicuna enclosure, the newborn calf is settling in. In the wild, vicunas are hunted for their fine wool coats, so an international breeding programme has been set up to help save them from extinction. The arrival of a new baby is an important step forward for the survival of the species, and today the calf will have her details recorded by head keeper Chas Mackenzie.
We're trying to catch the young vicuna. We want to sex, microchip and ear tag it. At the moment, the guys are just trying to push it into the yard now to make the area less so that we can catch it easier.
The keepers separate the calf from the rest of the herd. She's not been handled before, so senior keeper Shane Blake tries to keep her calm.
We've covered the head up so it can't hear too well, and also if it can't see, it tends to be a lot quieter. It stops the kicking a lot on that. If they tend to be stressed, they might hurt themselves. Plus, it looks cute with that on.
It's our first female vicuna that we've had here born. Getting fed up with males.
Right, we're going to tag the animal with an ear tag. Basically, it's got its own number now. And you have to be very careful when tagging in the ear. Try not to catch any veins or anything. Try and get a clear patch. And that's the tag in the ear now. It's in the right ear, suggesting that it's a female, so you can see it visually from a distance. The yellow is the colour for the year. The colours are rotated every 7 years, and obviously that's its personal number now, which goes in an ARCS record.
Every one of our animals that we ear tag and stuff like that is a double way of identifying them. If they lose the ear tag, at least we've got a microchip in there that we can read, and vice versa. Can somebody pass me the reader? Working perfect. Everything's done and dusted, so it's just a case of releasing it and letting letting her go back to mother. Yeah, we haven't chosen the name because, again, we didn't know what sex it was. So now that we know it's a female, yeah, someone's bound to pick a nice name. Okay, let it go.
The Vicuna calf heads for her mother, and the rest of the herd check her over.
If you look at the animals there, you'll find some of them all that they're very interested in all our smells on the baby. That's why you don't like to handle them when they're too young. You usually give them a little bit of time for mother and baby to bond.
There's a slight chance the calf could be rejected, but Chas is confident that's not going to happen here.
Sometimes it happens if you handle them when they're too young and they haven't got that bond. But you see their mothers leading it away quite happily there, so it's just the other ones there. They're just very curious about all the different smells it's got on it at the moment.
As mother and baby get to know each other over the coming months, Chas will be on hand to guide them. Next time, as Asha's due date comes and goes, both keeper and expectant father are on tenterhooks.
I'll be glad when she actually has them and she's rearing them herself. That'll be a great relief.
And at the rhino enclosure, Rosie and Quinto have a score to settle.
Doesn't sound like she wants to come out.